Hello and welcome to another wonderful video. I'm here, as always, Danny Ball Sub, with another Dreamtime video. I really love making these. It's always fun to look at these dreams from my dream journal and just kind of talk about them, kind of just read out what happens in the dream from the dream journal to you all. And I don't know how well you guys enjoy it though, because I seem to ask this every time I start another Dreamtime video, but leave a comment or something if you like these, if you want to see more of these, because I really like making it, but they don't really seem to do as good as everything else. So I don't know. It's just, I don't know. We'll leave that to the future. We'll leave that to future Daniel to figure it out. Anyway, today we're going to be talking about the dream that happened on the night of May 5th, 2017 on a Friday. Yeah, that's right. A Friday of all days. Anyway, this dream started out simple enough. This dream started out simple enough. I was in a bus with a group of people that I knew in the dream, but not in real life. We were kind of like a group of friends. In dream we were anyway. I didn't know them in real life, and I still don't know them in real life. Anyway, I don't know what kind of bus this was. I want to say it was a school bus, but the dream doesn't actually specify what kind of bus it is. And I've never really ridden a bus other than like a school bus. That's really the only bus I've ever ridden before, I think. So I would have to assume it meant school bus, or at least I would hope it means that anyway. So I was in a bus with this group of friends or whatever, and I had talked to the bus driver, and I convinced him to, I guess, technically skip school or something like that and take us to a small convention of some kind. I think it was like a Comic-Con. I've never been to a real Comic-Con or anything of the sort, so I don't know exactly what it's like, but my past self, this dream had some idea of what it would be like. And so we get there, we're kind of walking around, we're doing our thing, and I walked around the convention with some other friends, some in-dream friends, like I mentioned earlier. And after leaving, we had a good time, whatever, but after we left, we discovered we just suddenly had the powers of like fire, water, wind, invisibility for some reason, and a couple more. It says in the dream journal itself that I can't remember what the other ones were, but we had different powers and stuff, and it was kind of like, oh, I would have the power of water, you would have the power of fire, and then this other guy had wind powers, and the other guy had invisibility or whatever. But it was never we all had like all the same powers all at once. We all kind of had our own power. Anyway, we talk about the powers for some reason and decide not to use them. Like we talk about the powers, obviously, because we're going to talk about the powers. But for whatever reason, we decide we're not going to use them at all. The friend with fire powers, he disagreed about it, like not using the powers for whatever reason. He just kind of was like, no, we should totally use it. I completely disagree with you. And he kind of just leaves, showing off his power to anyone that would kind of express any kind of interest in, or not really interest, but like if anyone that would give him even the tiniest bit of attention, he will be like, oh, by the way, I have pyrokinesis, and he would like set something on fire or something like that, or use fire, like he maybe would shoot fireball or something like that. He kind of showed off a little bit, and he was literally just showing off this power to literally anyone that he could. Later on, fast forward into the future, just a little bit more in the dream, everything fast forwards. Later, we discover that these powers are becoming stronger the more we use it. So these powers, the more we use it, the stronger they just get. So we're starting to get really powerful with it, even though we're not really even using it too much. Even the littlest bit is making us stronger. It's like we're getting stronger over time, but using the power makes it even stronger and stronger, like tenfold. Anyway, so we started to theorize that it would eventually grow to this unstable, uncontrollable force, and that we were all basically doomed. There was a little bit drama later on with the guy with fire powers, but the dream kind of just ends there. There's nothing else written or mentioned. I believe the guy with fire powers ends up coming back, and he's insanely stronger than us, because obviously he had been using his powers way more, and I think we ended up having to team up to defeat him. And I want to say in the process we lost the power somehow, but again, I don't really remember this dream that well, and this is kind of all what's written out on the dream journal. So anyway, that being said, let's move on to the second dream of the video, because we have to do two little Dreamtime things here in every single video. So let's get to that. Okay, so this next dream happened on the night of May 11th, 2017, on a Thursday. Now, this dream started off, I was in a library or whatever, kind of minding my own business, kind of looking through some books, just flipping through pages or whatever. And this girl comes up to me and she asks for help in the library because I was considered an expert at this library for whatever reason. I was considered an expert in this library. I think in the dream, there was like history of me coming here basically every single day, and I was here a lot. And I think it actually was like a school library. It wasn't like a public library. It was like just like a school library or whatever, like maybe like in a university or something. I don't really know. She comes up to me and asks for help because I am considered an expert at this library because apparently I come here a lot, or at least in the dream I come here a lot. And so I'm like, sure, let's help. Let's help her out or whatever. So we go over to where she needs help at, and she's looking for this book. The book she wanted specifically was an extremely thick book about American history. Now, it was a little bit difficult to find this book because it wasn't like conventional history. It was kind of like a conspiratorial book a little bit, but it was also like all the facts were in there. Everything that was in the book was 100% factual according to the resources it was able to pull from. So it was factual without being realistic, which is weird. It's hard to explain that. But anyway, it's a really, really thick book on American history, and she's trying to learn about this or whatever. So I was like, okay, I can learn a little bit about American history. Why don't we read this together or whatever? Is basically what ended up happening. So in the book, we open it up, and there's some kind of mission or something. And this is where it turns from, oh, I'm just looking at the book with this person or whatever, to I'm kind of experiencing things that happened in the dream. Basically, the dream kind of transforms to be where I am the character in this story that I'm reading. Anyway, it's kind of hard to explain that. But anyway, there was some kind of mission. Maybe it was like experimentation, something like that. And America basically had discovered really, really large eggs. One of them was maroon with like 9 or so spots, white spots on it. And they had took it and put it in the 100. There was like a program. It's basically a group of 100 soldiers who excel beyond others. At this point, the egg just had hatched at some point, and it was a dinosaur. It turned out to be a dinosaur. So the 100 were put in a maze for whatever reason. They're just suddenly put inside this maze with each other, and they are forced to fight until 10 remain. That's kind of what the idea, I guess that's what the idea of like the 100 was. That was kind of like the experiment of it, is like, oh, you know, there's 100 of you, but there can only be 10 who are truly superior or whatever. And they put them in this maze where they can fight each other to get to the end or whatever else. Anyway, the dinosaur actually ends up becoming part of this 100 group because they had like 99 and I guess or whatever, and they decided that that would be the 100th. The dinosaur is the 100th for whatever reason. So the dinosaur is participating in this strange maze challenge kind of game. This game, I realize how weird this dream is. So the dinosaur somehow does the best out of all these soldiers. So after reading this in the book, after kind of experiencing this, I'm back outside the book or whatever. I'm back in like third person, I guess, and I'm flipping through more of the book, thinking that, you know, this is really interesting and whatever else. Now the book starts talking about or reading about. I start reading about, or I guess the book talks about it. I don't know. The book starts talking about a battle with a hostile country. America was losing, and one soldier recalls getting separated before getting shot down. So basically, this was kind of like a recording kind of thing where basically this is like no one knows exactly what this was. This is just like recordings that was captured or whatever by something else, but I end up experiencing this situation just like I experienced the last thing, and I am the pilot in this helicopter. It actually doesn't say. I'm pretty sure it's like a jet or something. So anyway, this soldier, he is getting separated, and he gets shot down. He's in his jet or whatever. He gets shot down. He screams, you know, Tango Tango Foxtrot, some kind of emergency message, something crazy like that. Just as he reaches the ocean, the dinosaur begins to arrive in a helicopter. So just as he starts hitting the water, the helicopter, the dinosaur, I guess, is piloting this helicopter, and it's coming to his rescue. So he ends up basically rescuing the soldier, and just as the I guess just as the dinosaur gets down to like try and get him, I wake up, because it just says I suddenly woke up after this. So I don't know. That one's really, really weird. But I thought I'd throw it in there because, you know, every once in a while there's some really weird dreams out there, and sometimes you got to write them down, and sometimes you got to share them to the rest of the world. So anyway, yeah, that's gonna do it. I think that's gonna do it for the 2 dreams that I had for you guys here today at the Dreamtime video that we're doing here. So anyway, don't forget to like, subscribe, share, do those wonderful things, because when you do those wonderful things, you get access to wonderful content such as this. But that's not all you get. That's not all you get. You also get to become wonderful, and I think we all want that. So do those wonderful things, and until next time, stay wonderful.